Oh boy. That was fun. I love that. I am sweating. Okay, 4K easy warm up, slow pace, back to the track. Do your TheraBand stuff, your activation stuff, your warm up drills, your dynamic drills, your stretching, some strides. 20 times 400s, 7,000 feet altitude, NAU track, Flagstaff, Arizona. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay, so I'm back home. Session is finished. What I want to do now is, well, first of all, I want to make another smoothie. So I had a smoothie for breakfast. It's bananas, berries, I think almonds or maybe whole nuts, we'll check. Oat milk, and sometimes a little bit of yogurt. It depends if I've left enough room. The reason I want another smoothie is because that was so hot. I'm very, very thirsty. Let me compose myself, take a breath. What I want to cover, I'm going to take you through the session, but what I'd really like to cover within that is why I'm doing it. Today's a very specific session, which means you've got threshold, you've got hills, you've got VO2 max intervals, you've got speed work. Sometimes you just have to get very specific. You should be training, if you have a race in mind coming up within the next sort of 6 or 8 weeks, at least once every, I'm gonna say at least once every 14 days, you should be doing a session like I'm about to do. Okay. Purpose of smoothie, quick facts. Train hard, recover harder. Very simple. Change your t-shirt so that you're not wearing a wet, damp t-shirt. Super important. You don't want to get sick when you've just finished a session. A little bit vulnerable. Get the cold, wet, damp off your chest. I didn't have that problem today. It was roasting. Put on a dry t-shirt. Within 20 minutes of finishing your harder session, recover. Start to think about recovery. That means having a banana, perhaps a Lucozade, a Powerade, a Gatorade, etc. Start replacing electrolytes, hydration, quick snack to get some calories into the body to help it start recovering. That's super important. I go for a smoothie because I never have much of an appetite, but I know it's a way to get more calories into the body to help it start recovering in a way that I find it delicious. The morning smoothie has oats, and that's a bit more carbohydrates pre-training, and the post-recovery probably could have oats, but they make the smoothie not as nice, and so I'm quite happy with the way it is right now. I'm going to drink a bit more of the smoothie, then I'm going to talk you through what I'm doing, why you might want to do it yourself, how it helps, how to structure it, and really what to do in that kind of a specific session day. All right, so now I'm sitting down. Let's start with what am I doing? What's the purpose of the session that I'm doing? I hope you don't go through your training in a way that there's no real structure or relevance to what you're doing. That's not good. You need to follow a plan of sorts that gives you some form of, I'm putting my feet up, they're quite tired, my legs. But you want to be following some kind of plan that gives you structure in what you're doing so that when you're out there working hard and you probably don't have lots of time, maybe you work full time, maybe you have kids, family commitments, etc. You want to make sure that the time you're putting in is relevant to what you're doing and going to give you the most bang for your buck in terms of the effort you're putting in. What is the purpose of today's session? Well, today is specific. So I've done videos on threshold, I've done videos on hills, and I've done all that kind of training, but sometimes you just have to get specific. So specific to what? Specific for me right now is specific for 10K. So I'm in between marathons, you could say. I'm trying to train for the Olympics to run 2:08:10 for the marathon. I believe, personal opinion, I could be wrong, I believe to run 2:08:10 for the marathon, you need to be capable of running 28 minutes for the 10K, at least, maybe faster. So that's the what. What are we trying to do? We're trying to get the fitness to a sub 28 10K. It's that simple. Harder, that's the simple part. So what you then do is you train specifically to hit that goal. I need to improve threshold. If your threshold isn't in a good place, you're not going to run sub 28 for 10K. If your VO2 max intervals aren't in a good place, you're not going to run sub 28 for 10K. But once every 2 weeks, if you're training for a 3K, a 1500, a half marathon, a marathon, for me a 10K, you must get specific. Oh, I've got brain freeze. My smoothie's getting to me. I might have covered a little bit of the why already, so I'll keep why a little bit briefer. Think about it. That's my first kind of specific session. It doesn't mean that I haven't hit 10K effort in an alternative session, and that'll be the same for you. So you'll have done threshold work, you'll have done some runs, maybe a long run, maybe a hilly run, and of course, every now and again, you're gonna move the effort level into your next specific race effort. Of course, in the last 4 or 5 weeks, at some point, I'll have moved that effort level to 10K. But when you go specific, it means that you're trying to capitalize the volume that you're doing. You're not trying to get to 10K speed by accident. You're not trying to get to 10K effort by accident, or maybe it's sneaked in there. You're dedicating an entire session to specific. If you do 400 meter reps, 800 meter reps, K reps, mile reps, right up to 2K reps, imagine how much better prepared you'll be for that 10K, as an example, if you've done 2400s, then you've done 15 600s, then you've done 10 by 1K, then you've done 6 by a mile, and then maybe, if time allows, you might race a 5K at 10K effort, and then what you could do is do 5 times 2K as your big session. Could you imagine how much better prepared you're going to be for that big 10K if that's how you prepared? Psychologically, the legs, everything, the fitness. You've brought that fitness and that specific fitness to a really good place, so when the gun goes, it's not a shock to the system. You have lived at that specific intensity for maybe the last 6 or 8 weeks. That's your why. Whew. Okay, so now we've talked about why you might want to do this, what you might do, and the importance, how might you fit it into your current training. I don't know how your current system works. I hope that you've got 6 or 8 weeks before potentially a specific goal. Or maybe after watching this video, you're going to enter a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon. What you want to do is every 10 to 14 days, make sure that you've ticked that box in terms of specific fitness. I get a little bit guilty of jumping into other people's training. And that's where sometimes I might brush the edges of 10K effort. I might even brush the edges of 10K speed, and I'm talking about the last 4 or 5 weeks, you could probably say, building towards these next few 10Ks that I'll likely do. But it's very important that in every 10 to 14 day block, you make sure one of those sessions is very specific to you, specific to your needs, and specific to that next goal race. Make sure you've had 1 or 2 easy days before that specific hard day, and then make sure to take at least 1 easy day after it and possibly a steady day after that. I just did a video on steady running and you can check that out. But that's how you would fit it into your current training model. Okay, I'm almost finished my smoothie, which means it's time to start wrapping this video up. I think I've maybe already covered the when of all of this, but if I haven't, the when is important. Running is it's a constant. You're trying to get better over time. We actually use races, marathons, 10Ks, 5Ks, half marathons. It's almost like we use those races to give us something to aim for, something to get specific for. And so the when is, hopefully you've got, like I said, 6 or 8 weeks before a big race, but you're trying to move your running fitness forward all the time. You never want that to stop. That's why you do things like threshold, things like steady running, things like hills, things like working on your technique, things like gym. That's important to move running forward all the time, working on your nutrition, your hydration, your psychology, etc. But every 3 to 4 months, it's important to build races into your plan. The reason that's important is because it gives the psychology a little reminder that running isn't easy. It also gives the psychology a little kick up the ass to say, we need to fucking work on a few things. Maybe it's your weight, maybe it's your focus, maybe it's your sleep. I believe getting races in the program helps you just get that little kick up the ass that you might have needed to push that motivation to a higher level, which gives you almost permission to focus a little bit harder. Focus on the little things, recovery, nutrition, psychology, all the rest of it. If you want to know more about all that stuff, go to my website, joggingroom.com. I promise you that you will learn more than you could ever imagine that could contribute to your next big race, could contribute to getting you that personal best that you wanted. You might have no idea of all the little things that you could be working on. So go check it out. There's a lot of free stuff. I think you'll like it. When you plan this stuff in, is 6 or 8 weeks out from that goal race. You plan it so that you're racing, like I said, every 3 to 4 months. You don't want to go much longer than that without racing unless you've had injuries, etc. But I believe this is what holds us accountable to training at that level that really moves things forward. Those specific days are going to prepare you specifically for that next goal race. The psychology, the fitness, etc. You need to give yourself the best chance of racing well, and then you're not going to beat yourself up when it doesn't go well because you did everything that you could. Look, I hope you enjoyed that. Let's go back to the reps. I'll finish off those final few reps and you can see how I did with my specific fitness and my specific session. And it's not easy at 7,000 feet.
So 2400s, 200 meter jog recovery in 60 seconds. So we had a plan to just sit at 68, but actually 66 to 68 was fine. I didn't push, I didn't force the effort. The heart rate probably only got up to 172, 173. Altitude, you don't notice that it's hurting you until you stop, and then you heard me, fairly out of breath. But look, that's job done. That says I'm not in a bad place. I had a rough session on Tuesday where allergies and breathing was a mess. Kind of got to me a little bit because I was kind of confused that I just thought I was a bit fitter than that. Today was very good. Now to race a 10K in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 6 days time. Let's see if I can get close to 28 minutes.